Salam and welcome everyone. So today we're going to be working on the question on the screen that says calculate the energy of the quantum involved in the excitation of number one, an electronic oscillation of period 1.0 fs. So it's basically 1.0 times 10 to the power of negative 15 seconds. Then number two, a molecular vibration of period 10 times 10 to the power of negative 15 seconds. And then the third one, a pendulum of period 1.0 seconds expressed in joules and kilojoule per mole. So what this question is trying to tell is that we're supposed to calculate the energy of a phantom, and we're given one, two, and three. Just know that one, two, and three are independent question, but they are not a question. They are not questions that are part of a bigger question. Like it's not like a part one part of a question, part two part of a question, and part three. So there are three independent questions that we're actually supposed to solve for. So we're supposed to calculate the energy of the quantum for the first question and do the same thing for the second and for the third question. So the first thing I want to mention is that I'm going to start with question one, where we're told the to calculate the energy of quantum. So this change in E is going to stand for the energy of quantum. Okay. And that is what we are asked to look for. It's an unknown. And we have an electronic oscillation of period 1.0 fs. So period, which we denote as T. Okay, so period is T, not temperature T. So 1.0 Fs, so that's times 10 to the power of negative 15 seconds, because the unit for period is usually in seconds. I want to quickly mention that this Fs is just the same way as knowing something like centimeter or kilometer, where you have like times 10 to the power of 3, or nanometer times 10 to the power of negative 9. So that is what this F in Fs stands for. That's basically it. So that's that. That's the period. Now we're told to calculate the energy. The energy of quantum change in E is just basically equal to h times frequency, where h is the Planck's constant, and then the V, which is just the frequency. So that's basically what this is. So we're supposed to solve for it. As you can see from the question, we're only given the period, and we know Planck constant because Planck constant is a constant, right? So in order for us to be able to solve this question, we need to determine what the frequency is. Now you're going to be wondering, well, how do we know what the frequency is when we're only given period? If you remember your elementary physics, you will note that the frequency and period are inversely proportional parameters. So what this is saying is T is going to always equal 1 over frequency. So period is always going to equal 1 over frequency, or frequency is always going to equal 1 over T. So these two are inversely proportional to each other. You know, frequency is just how many cycles per second, while period is how many seconds will it take to complete a cycle. So that's just basically it. So they're inversely proportional. And if you're confused about this thing, just listen to me explain it one time, and then you can rewatch the entire video in order for you to have the full understanding, because I have to break down concepts that some of you have used probably like 2 years ago or even longer. So to find what the frequency is, we're going to say changing E, since we already know what frequency is, to equal 1 over T. So we just basically have change in E is equal to HV is also equal to H divided by T. So that's basically what it's going to be. So the change in E, which is the energy of the quantum, is going to equal the Planck's constant divided by the period. So for the first question, we know our period to be what? 1.0 times 10 to the power of negative 15. So that's going to just be, for the Planck constant, is 6.626 times 10 to the power of negative 34 joules seconds. And then, of course, the temperature, sorry, not the temperature, the period. The period is 1.0 times 10 to the power of negative 15 seconds. So, of course, you cancel out the seconds. So, you input 6.626 times 10 to the power of negative 34 divided by 1.0 times 10 to the power of negative 15 in your calculator. You end up getting the energy of the quantum to equal 6.626 times 10 raised to the power of negative 19 joules. And of course, because we're scientists, we have to put our work in the proper number of sig figs. And as you can see, the initial question 1.0 times 10 raised to the power of negative 15 was given to us in two significant figures. So we're going to round up or estimate to two significant figures. So the final answer of the energy of a quantum for one that occurs at a period of 1.0 times 10 to the power of negative 15 seconds is simply 6.6 times 10 raised to the power of negative 19 joules. So this is basically the answer. So I want to quickly mention something because I always do this so that I don't make any mistakes. Whenever you're given a question and you're solving, make sure you always go back to the question to make sure you didn't miss anything. Remember, they asked us to find the energy of quantum involving the excitation of these three different processes. Let's also not forget they said we should answer in joules, which we have done, and then in kilojoules, which we haven't done. Now, to go from joules to kilojoules when you're dealing with energy, is very, very easy. I'm sure you'll be wondering, well, they didn't give us the number of moles for the first question. So how are we supposed to find it? You know how you're supposed to, sometimes when you're told to find like the molar mass of something, the molar volume of something, the molar heat capacity, you normally know that you're supposed to divide whatever that quantity or value is by the number of moles, but we do something a little bit different here. Since we're not given the number of moles, and we know fundamentally in chemistry that 1 mole of an element, an atom, a molecule, ions of a sample or a substance of anything is always going to be 6.022 times 10 raised to the power of 23 per mole. This thing here is called an Avogadro's number or Avogadro's value. And this is very, very important. So we have a similar situation here where we know what the energy of a quantum is. We know that 1 mole of, let's just say, a quantum or whatever the situation is, it's always going to have 6.022 times 10 to the power of 23 per mole. So it's very important. So meaning for each mole of a substance, you have 6.022 times 10 to the power of 23 particles, or you just have the particles for it. So with that understanding, the energy per mole can be done in this way. We have energy per mole is going to equal the energy of the quantum times Avogadro's number. Don't forget the unit for Avogadro's number is just 1 per mole, because you have 1 mole will give you 6.022 times 10 to the power of 23 in quantity or particles. So just when you do this, you see that you end up with joule per mole. Just even thinking about it mathematically, you see the logic behind this. So everything just works out and checks out. So E sub mole is going to simply equal 6.626 times 10 raised to the power of negative 19 joules, okay, times 6.022 times 10 raised to the power of 23 per mole. So that is just basically it. We would multiply 6.626 times 10 raised to the power of negative 19 by 6.022 times 10 raised to the power of 23. So when we do that, we end up with 3.99018 times 10 raised to the power of 5 joule per mole. And then again, before I go ahead, we see that we've gotten the right answer, and you're going to be like, yes, that's what I assumed it was going to be. But let's not forget that we're scientists, right? We have to put our work in the proper number of significant figures. And in this question, the proper number of significant figures is 2 sig figs, since our initial question was given to us in 2 sig figs. So we're going to get the energy per mole in 2 sig figs. So energy per mole is equal to 4.0 times 10 raised to the power of 5 joule per mole. But then there is one more thing. Remember, if you go back to the question, we were told to find it in kilojoule per mole. So we have to go from joule per mole to kilojoule per mole. So what that will look like will be energy per mole will simply be 4.0 times 10 raised to the power of 2 kilojoule per mole. And this is basically the answer. So we have successfully found the energy of the quantum in joules, as well as the energy per mole of the quantum in kilojoules per mole. So yeah, we end up with 6.6 times 10 to the power of negative 19 joules and 4.0 times 10 to the power of 2 kilojoule per mole. So that's how you solve the first question. Now we're going to go to the second question, where we were told a molecular vibration of period 10 Fs. So that's 10 Fs, like I said, is just simply 10 times 10 raised to the power of negative 15 seconds. So that's it. Now we're supposed to find this. And don't forget, the period is actually what we're given, which is just 10 times 10 raised to the power of negative 15 seconds. And then we're supposed to find the change in energy. Sorry, not well, change in energy or just energy of the quantum. So that would be E is equal to H times V, Planck's constant. So that would be the Planck constant, H is equals, sorry, Planck's constant times V, which is the frequency, which we can rewrite to H divided by T, is equal to change in E. So this formula right here is what we're going to be using, just like I had explained earlier. So change in E is just simply going to be Planck's constant. We know that to be 6.626 times 10 raised to the power of negative 34, okay, joule seconds divided by the period, which is just 10 times 10 raised to the power of negative 15 seconds. Cancel out the seconds, cancel out the seconds. When you do that, you end up with 6.626 times 10 raised to the power of negative 20 joules. That is basically the answer to this question. Now, remember, we want to put our work in the proper number of significant figures. And the proper number of significant figures is 2, because our question was given to us in 2 sig figs. So we're going to round up to 2 sig figs. So that would be 6.6 times 10 raised to the power of negative 20 joules. So this is basically the answer to this question. Now, I want to quickly mention that the energy per mole is equal to the energy of quantum times Avogadro's number. Remember, I just explained it in the previous question. So we're just going to have energy per mole is equal to the raw value of this, which is 6.626 times 10 raised to the power of negative 20, okay, joules times the Avogadro's number 6.022 times 10 raised to the power of 23 per mole. I want to quickly mention something. I'm sure you guys will be wondering, okay, why did she just use the raw value rather than the approximate value? Anytime you're doing calculations in science, please do not use an approximated answer to do further calculations. Always use the raw value, because you want to have the final answer to be as accurate as possible. Even though it may not mean much if you're dealing with a bunch of decimals, the final answer is not going to be as accurate as it should be in the calculation. So I just wanted to make sure everyone is on the same page. That's the reason why I did that. So EMO would just simply be 6.626 times 10 to the power of negative 20 times 6.022 times 10 to the power of 23. We end up with 3.9902 times 10 raised to the power of 4 joule per mole. Of course, we do our work in 2 sig figs. EMO is equal to is equal to 4.0, remember, in 2 sig figs times 10 raised to the power of 4 joule per mole. But then again, we're nowhere supposed to find our answer in kilojoule per mole. So we're just going to work on this as though we're just going to basically work on this um and change this from joule per mole to kilojoule per mole. So when we do the calculations, we end up with 40 times. So when we do the calculations, we end up with 40 kilojoule per mole. So 40 kilojoule per mole is what you get when you go from 4.0 times 10 to the power of 4 joule per mole to kilojoule per mole. So this is basically the answer. And if you observe, we still were able to keep the 40 under to the significant figure rule, which is, like putting the lowest number of significant figures in a question and making sure that you That's what the final answer has to be in. So that's basically the second one. So now let's do a third question, which is a pendulum of period 1.0 seconds, right? Now the pendulum of 1.0 seconds. This is very easy for us because we're not multiplying by this and multiplying by that. But so the period here is 1.0 seconds. You already know the drill. We are going to use the formula for the quantum, which is just h divided by t. And then you have 6.626 times 10 raised to the power of negative 34 joule seconds divided by 1.0 seconds. So divide both sides here. So that would be the energy of quantum would just be 6.626 times 10 raised to the power of negative 34 joules. So that's basically the answer to this one. So yeah, that is it. So but we already know the two sig figs rule because 1.0 is in two sig figs. So we're going to put our final answer in two sig figs. So we end up with 6.6 times 10 raised to the power of negative 34 joules. So that is basically the answer to this one. Now we're also told to find our work in kilojoules per mole. So E mole will simply just be the energy of quantum that we just calculated times the Avogadro's constant. Just like I've explained the very first time where I said 1 mole of a quantum of or substance of an atom of a molecule of an ion is always going to be 6.022 times 10 to the power of 23 particles. That is the same rule that is being applied here. So that would be E mole is going to now equal 6.626 times 10 to the power of negative 34 joules, okay, times Na, which is Avogadro's number. So that would be 6.022 times 10 to the power of 23 per mole. So E mole is just going to equal 6.26 times 10 to the power of negative 34 times 6.022 times 10 to the power of 23. When we input that information in our calculator, we end up getting 3.99018 times 10 raised to the power of negative 10 joule per mole. And of course, you already know the drill. We're going to put it in the proper number of significant figures. So E mole is just going to be in two sig figs. We have 4.0 times 10 raised to the power of negative 10 joule per mole. But then again, we are scientists and we have to put this in three sig figs, right? Three sig figs. So, no, not three sig figs. We're going to do it from joule per mole. So now we remember our question also asks us to put it in kilojoule per mole. So I'm going to go from joule per mole here to kilojoule per mole. So we end up with 4.0 times 10 raised to the power of negative 13 kilojoule per mole. Because, to go from joule to kilojoule is to divide by 1,000. And when you do this division by 1,000, you end up getting 4.0 times 10 raised to the power of negative 13 kilojoule per mole. So this is basically the end of this video. If you have any questions, suggestions, or concerns about the channel or about this particular video, please make sure you put it in the comment section. I'm here to listen and to try and improve this channel as much as possible. If you're a student who is struggling in any of your STEM related courses, whether you're in middle school, high school, or college, I am the tutor for you. I help students succeed in all your STEM related courses by my way of mentorship and tutoring. So if you would want me to tutor you in order for you to succeed in academia, make sure you email me at shahabitutoring@gmail.com. I wish everyone all the very best. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.